You're on live.
Hey,
you're live, buddy.
Sorry. Hey, welcome back to Double X Download. This is episode 12. Tonight we don't have a guest. We don't have a set topic, but we got a few things we're going to do tonight. We're going to call up a couple people that decided to want to be on our show, want to talk a little bit. We're going to take some comments from some viewers and any ideas, thoughts you've got, stuff like that. This week's episode is brought to you by Dust Pods, as always. Champion Cartway, Pitside Cart Supply, Brad Weaver Racing, Heinz Energy, Snake Creek Marine, Liberty Carpet, and as always, powered by AG Video. Now you'll notice a few of those are sponsors that we haven't seen before on the show. Those are some of Brad's sponsors for his modified sportsman racing effort. So we'll turn it over to him. Let him throw the information out on those guys.
As from last year, we've got Heinz Energy coming back on board, located in Montrose, Pennsylvania, as well as Snake Creek Marine, right on Route 29 in Montrose. All your auto or marine and boating and all kinds of lake activity stuff there at Snake Creek Marine. Anything marine related, check them out. And also new now is Liberty Carpet in Halstead, PA. I'd like to thank them for coming on board for 2024. And they can hook you up with any kind of flooring and carpet needs you have. Just check them out in Halstead, PA. Also, we'll be working on getting a promo code for Liberty Carpet as well for anybody that watches the show or watches the Weaver Racing. You'll be able to throw a promo code to get some sort of discount or something here. Just working that out with them. So, thanks for coming on board in 2024 and just want to kind of start promoting them. And, talk to Brandon now.
Yeah, so we got a few people we're going to talk to. We're going to talk to Evan Ohara. Evan is a young man who is breaking into the flagging world as well as doing some driving of his own. We used him out at Champion and Action Park a few times last year. If we had flaggers that were racing and racers that were flagging and all that stuff, and he did a really good job. And he actually landed a full-time gig this year out at the Adrenaline Mountain Cartway. We'll give him a call in a minute. We'll wait a couple more minutes and just kind of get everything on here. We're gonna talk with Cole Nelson in a little bit about the new Outlaw Predator series, kart series that's gonna be rolling out. If you guys have any questions, or you want either anybody on the phone's thoughts or just topic, we're here to talk for an hour or so. We're open for discussion. So comment if you have thoughts or anything like that. Just leave a comment and maybe we'll discuss it.
Yeah. So we're also monitoring on the Weaver Racing page. I got that going. So if you're watching on there. I see your comments. Maybe I can get to you guys too, also, who are watching there. And I just wanted to throw out, we are also streaming live on Twitch as well right now. You can check us out at Weaver Racing 1A, all one word, lowercase, Weaver Racing 1A on Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, you can subscribe to the Weaver Racing 1A Twitch page for free, and that helps us out. So if you guys are on Twitch, definitely check us out on the Weaver Racing 1A page and subscribe, and that'll help us out here with the podcast. So thanks a lot for everybody who's checking in, and hopefully you guys can mosey on over to the Twitch page and check us out on Twitch as well.
Yeah, so one thing while I'm thinking about it, I know this when we started this out, this was going to be just a wintertime survive the off-season thing, but we're having enough fun. We've spent enough money on this thing to keep it going a little bit more. So I think Brad doesn't know it yet. We're planning on running this through the racing season. We're gonna try to do it weekly, but I know things get a little during the season. Things get a little hectic, with race cars and race tracks.
Might have to train somebody,
but
I might have to train somebody on the ATEM.
Yeah, we have to
figure this whole tech end of it out.
Yeah, so but I'm looking forward to that. We'll do kind of a week in the life of a promoter about every week, and a week in the life of a racer. But Brad's not going to give away all of his secrets, but take through our weekly ups and downs, and it should be an interesting time.
The grinds of the season, the racing season, the grind that we go through as a race car driver and a promoter.
Yeah.
So you guys can tune in all year, hopefully, here Tuesday nights.
Yeah, hopefully we can open some eyes towards just some of the stuff that we deal with that maybe a lot of you that are fans haven't actually raced don't think about, or a lot of you racers that know how to run a racetrack.
We all do.
Oh yeah, every one of you.
Yep. I'll tell you all about it too.
Yeah. So, all right. So I guess what we'll do here is
we give Evan a call.
Yeah, we're gonna give Evan a call. I don't see any comments that are popping up yet, but we'll let me just find him in the old contacts here. Just add it. Oh, there he is, right there. Make sure I'm on speakerphone. We're gonna go mobile here.
Whoa.
Oh.
At the tone, please record.
Oh, you didn't answer.
Hello.
What's going on?
Not much. What's happening?
Well,
Same old.
Yeah. So,
Mr. Evan Ohara, you wanted to be on. Now you're on. What do you got for us?
So what are you looking forward to about this year? What's your favorite thing you got coming up?
As many the people on the live may know, I am going to be a head flagger at the new track in Candor. I'm very excited for this new opportunity that I'm going to get. I've been wanting to flag my entire life, so we're going to hit a couple races here and there. We're going to see me on the carts.
What are you going to race?
I am planning on racing the Extreme Budget Predators and then the Ghost 360 class.
Nice.
Cool. You plan on racing anywhere weekly, or is it going to be kind of a bounce around and no pressure considering you talk to a track promoter here?
Yeah. We this year we're with me flagging. We're probably gonna stick to Saturdays at Adrenaline and then kind of bounce around there. I know we're gonna hit a couple shows at Champion and probably Action. Make a couple trips. We want to go to Moose Mountain.
Yep.
And then probably go to Dodge City.
Yeah, Dodge is a lot of fun.
Tracks that we might go to. Not official yet, but we still got some planning to do. So.
Yep, good deal. So how did you end up in the Adrenaline Mountain gig? Did you go to them, or did they come to you, or how that?
So one of the races at Champion, we hung out with Alex and Roger. The idea was still in the air of them building a track. So once it was official that they were going to make it, Roger was the first one to ask me if I wanted to be head flagger at the track. I said, of course. I know Barry and Brandon has been giving me opportunities at Action and Champion to wave some flags around. So
very good-looking flags at that.
Yes.
Yeah, we're pretty excited for you. I think Joe Chris is gonna have to keep his eyes open here, because he might have someone gunning for his job here in another couple of years. What do you think?
I think so. I hope Joe is watching.
I hope he is too.
There you go. He's after your job, Joe. Evan's been quite an ambitious young gentleman here as far as the flagging's gone. I know I remember watching him about 3-4 years ago flagging after the races when we're just kind of running around and just playing after the races and running some laps with the carts. And Evan's, instead of out there on the go-kart, he's up in the flag stand flagging for everybody. So
yeah, that's how you know somebody's got a passion for flagging.
He's definitely got the passion and the drive for it. So hopefully it turns out to be a good year for him flagging, and he gets a lot of experience doing that.
Yeah, so we're excited for you, Evan. You got anything else you want to say? You want to talk about? Weigh in on?
So, I want to talk about, let's see here. Let's talk about, all the, what's, Brandon's and Brad's opinions on the new tracks and, the returning tracks that are coming up this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm as far as adrenaline, I'm pumped. Honestly, for me, the biggest thing is I'm looking forward to having another place to go race where I can take the pressure off myself and just enjoy a night of racing. I look forward to torturing the flagger up there and maybe Alex a little bit.
Everybody is.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I think between Alex, Roger, and Dave, I think they got a pretty good team in place up there, and I have no doubt they'll be packing the place this year. They've got the equipment, they've got the backing to do it, and to make it into a hell of a place. Looking forward to that one. I'm looking forward to the Red Lion Raceway. I got to take a trip out there Saturday and see that. It's laid out right now. It hasn't been. There's no groundwork done yet, but they have it laid out. They have it marked out where it's going to be, and it's a really cool layout. The whole facility, it's a cool. It's a fireman's field. They got basically a big open field to work with, but they got they can lay it out however they want. I think that's gonna be a pretty cool deal. As far as tracks that aren't existing yet, there's only two I'm allowed to talk about. So,
well, I can probably take over a little bit here. On our end of it, I mean, we're excited for Pencan Speedway and the new renovations and stuff, and the safety improvements and everything that's going on with Brian Mills and Nate Shea has come on board to help out with that as well. So as far as James and Aubrey racing, they want to race Pencan weekly. They've got a couple buddies there, friends, the Stantons, Bryce Martin and Spencer Stanton. They want to race with them, so they want to race Pencan weekly. So I'm looking forward to Brian bringing, some more organization and some safety concerns that were there before, fixing on them, and looking forward to a better program at Pencan. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Yep. So, adding to the Pencan, that is one of the tracks that we plan on running weekly. So, you will see the O'Hara crew there on Sundays and possibly the Stantons and possibly the Bonds there too.
Nice. Looking forward to that. Always a good time racing with the Bonds. The Stantons are a ton of fun. Super competitive racers, and that's what we like.
Good groups there.
It's good camaraderie too. I mean, we all get along. It's competitive, but we know it's racing, and we have fun with it. It's laid back, but it's not like we're all just chilling. It's not a backyard. I mean, it's still pretty competitive, racing. So
yeah,
I like racing with all them guys. I like hanging out with all those guys. So definitely going to be a lot of fun on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be a good time. So, but yeah, and existing tracks. I guess he did say. Let's talk about the existing tracks. I'm looking forward to what we got going on at Champion and Action Park. Action Park will be getting clay if they want to see any racing. We do have clay lined up for Action Park, which is basically it's the only thing it really needs. And Champion, we've got some big stuff going on there this year. We got some rule changes that we're hot or cold with the drivers. I think overall, long term, I think it's going to be a big help. Unfortunately, we have a couple of our neighboring tracks that decide to go with differing rules packages, which it is what it is. It gives drivers options, but it's probably going to cost us a couple carts. But it's all part of it, I guess. it's unfortunately you start out the only show in town and you're successful at it. There's going to be more shows in town.
Yep.
And that's where we're at right now. So I'm not expecting a record year this year. As long as I can break even on the track, I'll be content. Which I don't think we'll have any issues there. I think we'll be good to go there. But yeah. So Evan, we gotta let you go because we got a couple more calls we got to make.
Thanks for calling in, Evan.
Yeah,
thanks, buddy.
Yeah, thanks for calling in, and maybe we'll get you on again sometime. Maybe after you get a few races under your belt, come in and get you right in the studio and with a headset on and a microphone in your face, and have you join us for an hour. So
sounds good.
All right.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. I'll talk to you later.
Sounds good. See ya.
Later.
All right.
All right. Yeah. That was,
Thanks for calling in, Evan. New flagger out at the Adrenaline Mountain Cartway in Candor, New York. Young kid. He's pretty ambitious. He's been at this flagging for a while, and I know there was a young ambitious flagger that I remember that started at Thunder Mountain that turned out to do pretty decent. I was a little.
I actually started, believe it or not. I was 21 when I started flagging at Thunder Mountain. I started flagging when I was 16 years old as head flagger to go-kart track.
Yeah.
So I think Evan's 15.
15?
I think he's 15. So it's a good place to start.
Yeah.
Especially if you enjoy flagging, and I did for a few years. And
you did pretty well. I was impressed. Honestly, I really was. I was a little skeptical to start when I heard they had such a young kid flagging the race. But, you were pretty darn young at the time. We were all young.
I was old enough for 12-ounce curls.
Yeah, well. Inexperienced, that was the thing. It was his. But anyway, yeah, Brandon did really well. He impressed me.
Brock Caswell, topless night. Yeah, that video last time I looked has 50-something thousand views on it. So
we might. Whoa, dude, I got to bring that up. We'll play that on one of these episodes. I'll have to put that on the.
Brandon should just flag full time. Well. I don't want to do that full time. I deal with that's almost worse than I don't know about that. But yeah. So
we give
let's give
our next
Cole,
call.
Yeah, let's give Cole Nelson a call. All right, where me?
Hello.
Cole, what's going on?
No, not too much. What's going on with you guys?
Oh, we're just sitting here having a little race discussion. So
shooting the breeze.
Yeah, shooting the breeze, having a good time. Figured we'd get you a little PR out there for the new Outlaw Predator series. So for people who are uninitiated, give the too long didn't read the condensed version of what exactly you got going on here with the Outlaw Predator series.
So basically, the class is an open 212 Predator, kind of looking for big horsepower, and we went with racing treads instead of lawnmower tires or slicks or whatever. Trying to be able to put a little more to the ground and be able to get a little wider racing, but also kind of eliminate the tire prep that everybody is not so fond of. Basically, we decided we wanted to go a completely different route from kart racing as a whole, as far as like racing and race procedures and whatnot. So, we kind of adopted the kind of how late models do it. We wanted to run a little bit longer races, and we want more double file restarts because I understand it could be dicey. I understand, I've seen kart races where everybody's trying to get to the bottom and they're taking everybody out, but I think it might be worth a try because you can run higher with these tires. It might make for some interesting restarts. It might make for some 2-3 groove racing. And I know the biggest thing we've gotten is everybody saying tires are expensive, and I'm not going to sit here and say they're cheap because they're not, but they're no cheaper than some tires, and you don't have to prep.
Yeah,
that's kind of what we went with.
Yeah, it's I think the more I think about it, we gave you guys a race out at Action Park. I'm looking forward to it. I think, obviously anybody that's around the karting community has seen a little bit of backlash from the diehard kart racers, but that's not your target clientele here. The guys that like like the prep racing, like the slick tire racing, that's cool. No knock on them. But you talk high horsepower. I mean, these are unlimited engines. These are like opens, like we're running out at Champion and Action Park. They're basically an open small block. They're a Predator-based engine. But I can tell you right now, having raced unlimited engines on treads, that's putting a lot more emphasis on the driver than on the kart. And that's it's a lot more sideways racing. You're actually setting it in the corner. You're throwing it in the corner. Brad, I'm not sure if you're aware that it's a racing treaded kart tire that they're on. It's not the surf tires.
Yeah. I got you.
So they're on the Burris tire. I think you're going to allow like a one race waiver for like if a guy's got other treads, correct?
Oh, the one race allowance thing?
Yeah. Yeah. So basically,
one race on another treaded racing tire that's kind of close to what we're running, just for people to get a feel of the class and kind of see if maybe that's a route they want to go.
Yeah, which I think is a good deal. Let them take a try at it, take a stab at it for a race, and if they got some tires kicking around, like I know I've got a set of the Maxxis treads that I'd like to give a try, but I'm not sure on spending $300 on a set of Burris, without having Yeah, I mean I have limited ability to race the series anyway. I got some races all over the place, but yeah, I think it's going to be you got some races at Dodge City, Turkey Trot, Action Park, and you got the O-Ring. Talk about the O-Ring. I know there's a lot of people out here that have never heard of the O-Ring.
So the O-Ring is a backyard track built by Otto Sitterly, who races asphalt supermods. He's won a lot of races, a couple of championships as well out at Oswego, and in I can't remember the name of the series he runs in, but there's a Northeast series he races in as well, which he's won multiple times. And these guys wanted kind of what we're looking for, something away from the typical karting, the slick tire, the prepping and whatnot. So they went to a like clone motor, no bodies, just Nerf bar, Nerf bars, full bumper, or full rear bumper, and they have a front bumper, but no bodies because they don't like the bump and run style racing. So they went away with that. They don't run that, and then they don't prep slicks. They run no prep slicks, just old used ones because that's what they can get their hands on. And so the track is small. Otto said it was 220 feet the groove.
It's about the same size as the indoor track at Norwich.
It's banked.
That's cool.
That's the big thing is it's banked with a wall all the way around. So after talking with them, I think they're buying a handful of sets of treaded tires from us because we're the series is going to be a dealer. So they put in an order for a handful of sets. So they're going to try and switch to those because they've had a lot of issues with, they kind of run day racing. They have a ton of spinouts, he said. A lot on restarts because they don't have, they have no bite. They're not prepping slicks, and they, obviously slicks on dry dust is, dry dirt is not really too good. Especially, when most of them are, you're going to a restart, there's all or nothing with the pedal. So you're just, a lot of people loop out, or spin around. So they want to try the racing treads, and so that's a big reason why we're going to run there. They want to see what they'll do on that small track. So it should be interesting. I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, that should be an interesting. Race right there. I know I've seen some videos of some tracks on YouTube, like backyard tracks that were really tiny and high banked like that, and they put on quite a good show. Slide jobs and running the rim and
that series out in Indiana. Those guys are Matt Monday promotes that. It's like a backyard series, and they're
pretty
running,
wild.
Yeah, they're running unlimited engines too. And here's one thing: is I know a handful of guys unlimited engines are expensive. Well, they're not as bad as people think, because like, I mean, you have a clone built, you send it to a builder because the builder knows how to get every little, how to tweak, how to adjust, how to get this, how to get that. You're looking for a tenth of a horse here, a tenth of a horse there. Those guys are, but when you're unlimited, I mean, it's not hard to bolt an engine together. There's not a whole lot to it. So you can now go out and buy a cam. You can go out and buy a ported head. You can go out and buy a crank. You can buy everything you need and bolt it together in your garage and make more power than you're ever going to need. When that can be done for a whole lot cheaper than paying a professional to build
$3,000 for a clone motor.
Well, I don't know if they're quite $3,000. They're $1,200 to $1,500. But
our motors that I'm going to run on the 273 Outlaw that I'm racing. It was Chavis built them. He built both of ours, and they're about, I think he said 17 and a half, 18 horse. I think they were only like 1,300.
Yeah.
So it's not bad, especially from what I've heard. Some of these clone guys are paying for motors. You're getting 4 or 5 horse more, and they're cheaper.
Yeah, building big horsepower. Building big horsepower is cheap. Building limited horsepower to try to make
big horsepower out of limited parts.
Is what's expensive.
Specifications. When you've got a lot more specifications as far as what you can do with the motor, it's a lot more difficult, and that's where the fine tuning and the tricks come in, and that's where the money comes in. You're paying for somebody's knowledge than you are, more so than you are parts. So
Definitely.
Yep. So
now you're back on to spending money on parts and being able to do it yourself even.
Yeah, and it's in all reality, like it's when people get into when people pick their class of racing. They're going by what their wallet will allow them to do. And like the budget predator class, guys are like, I want to get into this as cheap as possible, and I want to be on a level playing field, and they want to feel like they're, they want to feel like they can afford to be competitive. With the outlaw, with an outlaw type of class, well, if they know they can throw the money at an engine, and they know guys aren't cheating to win, and under at least in the engine department, that's also it's not too hard. And I think that's going to... The tires, the tires are a little more expensive, but you not have to have 25 sets of them. And they should last. Well, how long they're actually going to last remains to be seen. You're going to a lot of different tracks, a lot of different surfaces and stuff like that. I mean, you get one real abrasive surface, I could see you wiping out a right rear and pretty quick in a race or two. But, you're running on... and setup has a lot to do with it too. If you're keeping it straighter, it's going to last a lot longer. And if you're really throwing it out there, wingless sprint style, and throwing, slide jobs are fun. They're a blast to watch, but they're not good on the old right rear. But
definitely not.
So
but the other thing we look, the reason or the idea behind the class, I guess, is more. Now you have options when you go into car racing. We heard from a lot of clone guys, why don't you just run clone? Why don't you just run a clone? Why don't you just learn the prep game? Well, I ran all three. I've ran shredder racing tires, I've ran motor tires, and I've run the budget, which I've done, which you have to prep tires. And I somewhat learned the prep game, enough to be competitive in the budget. And, but now you have options if you go into racing, for people that are, you want to bring people into kart racing. Well, if they don't want to learn chemical warfare, well, now they can go to a motor tire and eventually move up to something a little bit faster. Whereas you go tire route, you can go into a budget and eventually up to a clone. So you kind of have options of how fast you want to go in either side. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I like that there's avenues for either way that you want to go. That it's nice. Rather than doing a UAS kart, everybody wants to go somebody really wants to go fast, and they like the idea of the open stuff, but UAS is kind of it's really broad, it's all over the place. This is a little more localized, and I think you could probably do a little bit, pretty close to the same type of speeds in racing for the tracks that we've got around here. Mm-hmm. I think that it's nice that there's an avenue to that way, and as well as the clone. You can go slick tire prep racing, if that's your thing, if that's your type of racing, or you can go the outlaw style. I personally, I like the outlaw stuff because you can do more. It's almost like a modified class where you don't have to worry about somebody's cheating up a motor or whatever, and I can only do so much, and I don't want to get caught, so I don't want to cheat up a motor. Well, somebody's probably cheating up a motor, and I'm getting mad because they're winning all the time or something like that. I can just skip right over that and go outlaw race, and that's what I like about the outlaw class.
Yeah, definitely. It's piqued a lot of interest from people all over, and we're hoping that the style of racing will draw more people in. Getting away from the normal kart racing. Hopefully, that's something that might pique people's interest into getting into racing, or at least coming to watch. That's because kart tracks are not getting attendance as far as people watching the races. You're only getting the parents and whatnot of whoever's racing, basically. And I think that's a big reason why kart racing, isn't doing as good as it should. There's nobody there to even see it. Nobody knows anything about it because they're not watching.
Except Action Park. Action Park is an anomaly. Most weeks are between 75 and 125 paid spectators. So, but yeah,
that's pretty good for kart racing.
That's real good. That's like we have a drive-in and all that section. Like a lot of people watch from their cars, watch from the back of their trucks up on the hill. It's a cool deal. But
so one of the questions I wanted to ask is with the outlaw series that you're running, what kind of body rules do you have in place right now?
We did this anything over 18 inches is the minimum height, just to keep people from really getting into the cockpit. I know after talking with Brandon at one point, he said they were having issues with the Ghost class of people getting up and in because people were running like the low bodies, and that was causing some issues. So we tried to go a little bit higher bodies. It's kind of basically the same as the DKM bodies, but you can do anything. You can do anything with it as long as it's 18 inches or above, which is about what we already were running with the lower tires or heavy tires or whatever you want to call them.
So do you have a maximum height?
Technically, no, but
okay.
I assume visibility is a must.
you kind of got to be able to see. That's the tough part, because we wanted to allow it to have a straight panel because after talking with certain people who raced last year, and even I dealt with it, it's hard to see anywhere beyond what's right in front of you. Maybe your right front or left front. You're not really seeing that person that might, that could be alongside. You're probably going to hear them with these motors, but with something like a stage one, it's a little bit harder to hear or see somebody right there. But I think that just comes with knowing who
you're racing with
when you're passing somebody or whatever.
So it's not necessarily the cart that's right in front of you. It might be the cart in front of them that you can't quite see because the cart in front of you's body's high.
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
Nice. So it wouldn't be too terribly hard for somebody that had, like, say, a Ghost cart to switch over. They could pretty much just change the motor and body, or I'm sorry, motor and tires, and they can come and race.
Yeah, that was the other thing. We were kind of, like you said, it's kind of close because we do have a couple people that wanted to run the I think it's the WCRS Unlimited Unlimited HTPs that they're running. So, like, for example, actually Tom Barron said he was going to run a couple of our races because he already had the tires. And then, so we kind of tried to keep it so people could just switch the tires. The only thing you got to do is move the hubs a little bit, not much, because we switched over from what we were running with the mower tires, and, we were able to move, we didn't have to move them much to be able to make everything fit. And, obviously, if you really want to get down to it and scale up like we're going to do, you'd have to throw it on scales. But that's also why we kind of didn't want to run weekly. We kind of, we're on motors that aren't supposed to last more than like 12, 13 races max. So we tried to keep within that schedule, or within that amount of races, and give time in between races to to maybe rescale for a smaller track, or whatever, make adjustments. Make sure, check out the cart, because we're going to be probably doing maybe a little more wear and tear on the carts. They're definitely going to have a lot more bite. So, we wanted to give that option. And it definitely, because I race for somebody, and I'll be racing in this class, it's definitely going to help on that end because it's tough when I race weekly to be able to get up there and work on that to race that week as well. Because I don't live, close to where the other card is.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. Well, we got
anything else you wants to plug real quick?
Yeah. Anything else you got? You want to say?
Well, the only thing was our season finale is going to be a 50-lap race at Dodge City. It'll be the last race of Dodge's 50th anniversary year, and it'll be a 50-lap race to finish the season.
Well, that's cool.
Nice.
All right. Thanks, Cole. Thanks for calling in and giving us some information on that. And hopefully, pick up a little bit of some attention from this, and I'm sure we'll be in touch.
All right. Thank you very much, Brandon.
Yep. Thanks. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Yep.
Wow.
All right. Yeah.
Neat little excerpt there from Cole. And what's this series called again?
It's the Outlaw Predator series.
Outlaw Predator series. You can find that on Facebook.
Yep, they're on Facebook. I don't know. The page was private. I don't know if they ever figured out how to make it public or not.
Public.
But if you look up Cole Nelson, he can hook you right up. And I believe Roy Kilmartin is helping him out or is partnering with him on that.
Nice. So check Cole out, and if you're into that kind of racing, the Outlaw go-karts, I think that's going to be pretty neat. That last race at Dodge City, maybe Scott Parlett and Kay, I'll have to check that one out because I know that they're into the go-kart racing quite a bit. And
I don't know what day of the week that falls on, but I know there's some end of the season, some big local races around the same time. Hopefully there's nothing competing with it, but I haven't looked at like the if it's on a Sunday, so I haven't looked at the.
That sounds like one you probably ought to check out.
Yeah, that sounds like
Dodge City.
Yeah,
Little O's sounds good too.
The O-ring.
The O-ring.
The O-ring. Joke that I can't tell on the air. So all right. So
let's get to our next caller.
Yeah, listen. If you have any plans for the next private Outlaw Predator, he just said. If you don't have any plans for the next couple of hours, we're going to put Craig Hawley on the phone. And Craig, I could probably dial him up, set the phone down, and
just let him go.
Yeah.
We'll give one of my good buddy Craig Hawley a call.
Everybody knows Craig. He's announced everywhere. He's a good dude, and
love to have him. Craig's one of those guys we've been trying to get on the show here for a little while, and just scheduling hasn't really worked out for either of us. And well, talked to him a little bit earlier today.
Well, let's see if we can get him to answer his phone.
Hope so. Craig, if you're watching, pick it up.
The delay is gonna. It's a good one, that one.
I think. Hey, what's going on, Craig?
How we doing?
Not too bad. How about yourself?
Just sitting here watching an unbelievable podcast. All over the place, huh?
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
You guys are doing great things, man. Great things. Your studio's come a long ways from sitting there in Brad's garage with a sprint car behind you.
Yes, it has.
Yeah. But, I wish I still had the sprint car, though. So
what have you been going up to this winter, Craig? What's going on?
Man, I'm telling you, I'm looking at going into the first time in probably 20 years going into a brand new race season as just an observer and a fan.
You lucky son of a...
Listen, I'll trade weekends with you on a random July weekend, Brandon. It's looking like it's gonna be fun though.
He's still got the itch. You just said I'll trade weekends with you. I'll do something with. Yeah, he's still got the itch.
I will make a promise that I will get up to Champion one Friday night this summer for sure.
Good deal.
Every time I drive by there, I look over and I'm just mesmerized by how much that place has grown just in the last couple of years.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. But yeah, you have to get out there.
And I gotta ask because I wouldn't be doing my job if not. What is Dust Spots?
Dust Spots.
It's your guys' sponsor.
Yeah, it's a dust control product. It's a performance stabilizer. It was actually initially designed for road construction, driveways, stuff like that, like compacting, keeping moisture in the soil so they can compact it and harden it up and stuff like that. And then they work their way over into the dirt track stuff. And there's a lot of tracks that are using it now, and it's by far the most affordable additive a racetrack can buy to add to it. I'm looking forward to using it because we've got some, especially out at Action Park, we got some surface issues and we're going to get clay on it, and I am planning on using it at Champion also. But supposedly, the more you for the longer you use, you put some into it in the track every week, and eventually get to the point where you barely have to use any water at all. It just holds the moisture. So, we'll see. I'm excited about it. Like I said, if you get on their website, I don't believe they have a Facebook page, but if you get on their website, you can get some more information about it. You can buy it, and there is a discount code for anybody that's either construction, in the construction industry or racetracks. Discount code is XX, DOUBLEX. You gotta spell out that double. You can't just put in two X's. And it's a pretty good discount too. I can't remember the exact figure, but it's a substantial discount. And it's already not terribly expensive to start with. So, if you guys are looking into that, if you guys are considering it, go for it. Give it a try. I mean, it's certainly not going to hurt anything. And hey, you never know. You might find the secret ingredient that you need. Brian Mills. But
well, that's great. I seen that a couple of weeks ago. Had a meeting asked, and I did a little research of my own. I couldn't quite get past. Just trying to find their website, and I don't really have any need for it myself. But obviously, guys like you and man, if it works to help keep the dust down, that's one thing. But that's not a chemical that's going to alter any tires, is it?
No, it's actually a. Yeah, we can go into. There's another subject for us.
Here we go. Oh my goodness. This is Brandon right here.
This is actually a dry. I don't know if you can see it on there. This is actually a dry powder. It does get dissolved into water, but it's not a liquid additive.
I thought you were going to put it in your mouth.
Oh, you thought I was going to put
I thought he was.
It's supposedly it's not toxic and all that stuff, but I have no interest to take a lick of it. Nah, it's not salt. No, I don't know. I'm joking about that. It's definitely not just salt. But yeah, the coverage, I'm looking at it, and it does say you want to wear an N95 mask, so I assume if you can't inhale it, they probably don't want you to eat it either.
Oh, darn.
Yeah, at least give it a try.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
I mean, dust pods might taste like Tide Pods.
Yeah, there you go. But,
I wouldn't recommend it.
Yeah, but it says suggested application rate of 84 pounds per mile of road. That is a 6-pound thing. Supposedly that's good for 1,000 gallons of water on a racetrack, and they said to basically do one a week for one soak the track once, and 1,000 gallons is about what it takes for the initial soak for my tracks. So yeah, I'm pumped about it. I'm excited. Like, I've been looking forward to that all winter ever since and I actually just they actually approached us about sponsoring this. And I just inquired about it because I was intrigued seeing it. They were actually one of the tracks that was using it. So it kind of keyed me in because I'm always looking for the latest, greatest thing. And, just genuine curiosity. So I just sent them an email and just curious what their thoughts were for my tracks. And he got right a hold of me with a whole bunch of, hey, let's talk. So these guys, I mean, they definitely support racing. They're all about it. Yeah.
So, Craig, anything on your schedule this year, big races, or anything that you're particularly looking forward to? Anything that you're maybe haven't done at all yet that you're going to do this year that's new?
For me personally, the highlight of my schedule is going to be in October. I'm going to go all the way to West Virginia, and I'm going to go check out Pennsboro. When I seen, that's just a track that somewhere on the internet 10 years ago I came across the magic of YouTube videos, and just was something that looked amazing. When I saw they were coming back, I got a little bummed out when they said they were going to bring back the quarter mile. But man, it was like all new Christmas when the guys from XR Events said, "No, we're gonna go with the big track." So that's something that's definitely on my schedule. That, and of course, when the Super Dirt Car Series comes to town anywhere in the Southern Tier, especially for the first time, you gotta mark the calendar and probably make a trip up to Thunder Mountain and a Memorial Day weekend there for the Super Dirt Car Series. That should be a pretty good event. Something I never thought I'd see is a big block Super Dirt Series race at Thunder Mountain.
No, it's definitely not something you would have expected to see even just a couple of years ago.
Yeah, it's neat.
For sure.
Definitely neat that they're going to have this SDS race, or SDS race, sorry.
Oh, no.
SDS race. That's what I said.
How many S's?
Yeah, there is too many S's in this whole...
Super Dirt Car Series.
Listen, I'm going to hate myself. Why can't we just call it the School Racing Series?
Oh, yeah. Well,
there we go.
I think that the Surgeon General might not like that, but anymore.
It worked on me. That's what I do to this day because of it.
What is it?
As Leon Andrews would always say, you got to support the ones that support racing.
Yeah, that's right.
Get some dust pods, right?
That's right. Absolutely.
The other thing that's really, did you guys see that there's like 60 plus cars registered for Port Royal?
Yeah, that's gonna be.
And that is insane.
That's gonna be a big one coming up here. Oh, I switched camera, wrong person. That's gonna be a big one coming up here this next weekend. A lot of guys coming out for that. I think I might I'm looking at maybe making a trip down on the 14th, is it the 15th? Sorry. What's that? Friday. I can't remember. The kids have off that Thursday and Friday at school, so I was thinking maybe I might take a trip down on Friday, take the kids with me, or at least James.
I'll definitely be sitting with my feet kicked up and home on flow and watching. Sure.
Well, definitely Saturday, for sure I'll be watching on Flow. But that'll be a big one.
The streaming is a blessing and a curse, I think. But, man, I'll tell you, for a race fan, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how these racetracks are making money off it, per se, but I think overall it's got to be better for everything in general. But, man, my dad, Brad, you can attest to this. I just talked to him today. And he says, by the time I drive down to Delaware, 5-hour ride, man, it looked cold down there this past weekend. I was in 70-degree weather, my feet kicked up, and watching it on my big screen. So, it's tough, but there is something to be said about being at a racetrack, especially, an event of that magnitude, 60 cars, that I sit home, just doesn't quite, you can't see everything, right?
Yeah, I don't think that the streaming, I don't think that hurts these tracks at all, because I do know they get a little bit from the streaming, but the eyes that are on their track, like you will never beat being there in person. Like seeing it on TV, is a good deal, but I know that if I can be convinced to stay home and watch, if there's a race I want to see, then basically, if I'm watching it at home, there was no way I was going to get there. But I like being able to watch it at home, and and the spread, the spread's out all over the place. So.
Oh yeah, I can sit here in Susquehanna, Pennsylvania on a Friday night and become a weekly regular at Stafford. I can't complain. Well, actually, Brad, I heard you're going modified racing, huh?
Yeah, so
Modifieds.
Yep. This year we'll be racing Pencan and Skyline with the modifieds. Thanks to Mark Terry Racing. Mark made the decision last year that he kind of wanted to be in the modified class. It's what he's always ran. He's been a competitor for a long time, and he's wanted to get back into it, and is not unable to drive himself, so fortunately he asked me to drive for him. We did a year of Crate Sportsman last year to kind of ease back into a little bit, but Mark's heart is in the modified class, and I'm honored to be racing for him and have him ask me to drive his cars and his equipment. So looking forward to racing the modifieds next year. I think things are going to be a little bit more difficult, obviously, because we're still learning with the coil stuff, and last year was my first year running any coil stuff. So, obviously moving up to the modifieds opens some things up, and there's obviously a lot more to learn there. And, I think there's a good opportunity here for us in the modifieds to kind of, I'm not saying I'm going to be necessarily knocking on the door for a bunch of wins, but I think this is a good opportunity for some good solid runs. I know one of the problems that we had last year was getting wrecked up on restarts and stuff like that. So hopefully, racing with a little bit better guys, we won't have as much of that. So that's kind of our goal here, and we're looking to have some fun and learn as much as we can this year. Not necessarily, break the bank trying to win a bunch of races, but or race necessarily every single lap. But we're, we got some good sponsors on board. It's helping us out with fuel and tires and whatnot, and looking to learn as much as I can and get more experience here in the modified class. I think I could be a good solid top 10 car, and hopefully we can improve on that as the season goes.
I just had to turn this all around and had the guest actually do a little interview with you, right?
Yeah, well, actually, it's nice because, like I said, it's somebody that I've wanted to have here on the show for quite a while. Unfortunately, our schedules haven't lined up, and hopefully we can have you on some more. I know you're doing some of your own media stuff. You want to give that a little plug?
Yeah, I've got a couple of things totally non-racing related we're working on. 61C Media is on the Facebook page, and it's just when with 5 Mile closing and not being tied down to any specific racetrack, it opened my eyes up quite a bit to some different stuff that I can work on. Both of my sons have their own YouTube channel. Everything's under that umbrella, and everything's in the very beginning phases of that. I'm actually sitting in my 14-year-old studio that we have 4 monitors. I didn't even know how to hook 2 monitors up. Now I've got a microphone. I've got this little, $50 soundboard thing in front of me. And I'm just sitting here just blown away at what we've done in just a month and a half. And I give you guys credit because I'm telling you, everybody thinks you can just go up and do any podcast, any media thing. There's so much more involved.
Oh, yeah.
What everybody sees on your guys' podcast right now, if they knew a fraction of the amount of time that you guys have put in to get to where you're at.
Yeah,
it's across the board.
It's funny the number of people that the guests that we've had come on here, and they've looked and they've gone, wow, there is a lot involved in this between the technical aspect of it, and they're just planning out the shows, coming up with what we're gonna do and trying to keep it
light and fun.
Yeah, keep it fun, keep it entertaining, and not ruffle too many feathers yet.
We'll wait till race season.
Yeah, this ain't action's detrimental yet.
If you're ready to ruffle them, just let me know. I'm not affiliated in any way, shape, or form.
Oh, I'm sure at some point in time.
Double X download in association with 61C Media.
The hashtag canceled tour.
No, so you got that going on. What's your YouTube outlook? What are you guys looking to do?
So with Zane, we're working to kind of create something pretty magical there with him. And he 5 years old. He's been through hell and back already. And he grabbed the phone one day and he was walking around just kind of recording. I mean, these kids today, they just watch YouTube nonstop, and it's just something that he was walking around recording on my phone. And I was in the truck one night and I looked at this video that was 40 minutes long, and I went, wow, there's something here. And so it's been trying to minimize. We just have one thing up right now, just a little short, but there's some stuff that we're working on in the process as we learn how to do the editing and the uploading and everything else. So I think that it's probably a couple months out. It's just something on the side at the moment, but that's what I think that's what I'm putting my focus into right now, because when you chase racing for so long, there's always got to be something that you're chasing, whether it's racing or anything else. I mean, it's my TikTok is like 18 people away from 5,000. That's a milestone for me.
That's
huge.
Nothing
for anybody else, but I've been staring at 5,000 for like 6 months now.
It is pretty wild watching your TikTok grow. You've gained quite a lot of followers here.
That worked. Been all across the board on that. And just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks, you know.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to throw a buckshot to see what you can hit. And that's kind of where we're at with this. I mean, it's one week we're talking about tires, the next week we're talking about tracks, and we got a promoter in here, and then we're just having a kind of a free for all like tonight, where we've talked to a young flagger, we've talked to
another promoter,
a new promoter, brand new to promoting. We got Craig Hawley, he's the jack of all trades when it comes to racing here.
Yeah, it's done a little bit. Craig's done a little bit of everything.
My former 3-hour-long phone call once a week.
Yeah, I miss those, but
I do too. This whole working a real job thing's for the birds,
yeah,
but.
I hear you. I was thinking that when Brad called me today, I said, man, I wonder if we could have recorded a half of those those conversations. You got content for the rest of the winter.
Oh, absolutely. We could have broke up one of our conversations into like half-hour segments and spread it all. Like I'm pretty sure one of those conversations was like 4.5 hours long. But just I mean that was kind of that general idea is how this whole thing. I was hanging out with Brad every Tuesday night, just hanging out in the garage talking racing. We're like, we should put a camera on this. And
it's amazing and Brad. If we would have had a camera 20 years ago,
oh my goodness,
you're not kidding. Be sitting here right
now. No, I think we would have been. That is kind of a bummer, that we're on to this a little bit late, as race. Well, I mean, we chased other things, we were too busy. Myself, too busy working on racing, Craig, you were racing and doing your thing inside of racing, and family as well, if we'd have been more focused on stuff like this, I think back then when we were a little bit younger, say 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I mean, my God, we'd probably wouldn't be working these full-time or, daily jobs,
The jobs that pay for the disease of racing.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, this would supplement for it. We would be able to afford our racing off of this by now. How many? Just throwing it back here. I mean, how many views do you think we would have got if we could have done a live broadcast of us racing the HO slot cars in your attic back then?
Let me tell you something. We may only had 5 racers in there, but we had our own little tire debacle.
Oh no!
Yeah, see,
racers are racers.
Matt Hayes' comments. Tires are a hot topic today. Today is tires.
Well, I got a really quick story for the slot car days, and Brad, you'll remember this one really good.
You can take it away, Craig.
We had the tires of these little HO slot cars, and listen, racers will race. I don't care if it's a slot car or if it's a Lamborghini.
Lawnmower.
We were looking for absolutely, those things go insane. We were looking for every single inch of speed you could find. Well, everybody left the cars in. It was in my attic at my parents' house, and I was sitting there one night and looking for this bin, and I couldn't find it. I walked in the room, and everybody's cars are set up in there. I mean, we had pits in the attic.
I believe it.
And the HO track was it was a Taj Mahal, and there's my tote that I'm looking for, little tiny like about the size of a cell phone. Brad Weaver's pit spot. What is that doing there? I walk over and there's about a half an inch of brake cleaner at the bottom of said tote. I'm like, that's a little weird. I start looking, there's 4 tires in the bottom of that tote. Well, as a promoter, I'm looking at this and I said, well, and this is what, listen, any big time promoter, if you're listening, this is the only way to deal with tire stuff. I can't control it, I can't police it. But what I can do is I can confiscate these tires, put them over here. We're going to have a rules meeting or a driver's meeting. I say, hey, Brad, here's a set of brand new Ford tires for you. Been confiscated. However, starting tonight, guys, we are allowing any altercations to the tires you want. Boy, I went out and I put a spanking on the field that night by 3 laps.
Yeah. So to add to that, Craig told his side of the story, and I'll tell mine. So you dry the tires out a little bit with soak them in brake clean. It soaks it up, and then take them out, and it dries it up a little bit, and they get a little bit of slide on the track, and they didn't grip quite as hard, and you could get around the corner a little bit faster with a little bit of slide. And so I would until I got caught. I'd soak the tires in the brake clean for a day or two, and then I'd take them out race day and let them dry out. And I don't know, I was just really fast for a couple weeks, and then I got happened upon.
Well, I mean, you should have went to the store and bought a kiddie pool and not take my bin that I needed.
Well,
That's what it was.
It was just an idea, something I wanted to try the one night, and I didn't have anything to like a container to put the brake cleaner in, and that was just happened to be there. So I guess
that night forward at CNC Speedway, any and all tire modifications were allowed.
Yeah, well, but I wasn't allowed to use those tires, the ones that I'd been working on for a week or two.
I gave you a brand new set. I confiscated them. I went to the R&D center.
Yeah,
They ended up in Craig's car. And
yeah, but the CH ride kicked everybody's butt for a couple weeks after that. So no, that was.
I'll tell you, this setup you guys did tonight with the calling people, it's pretty cool. Kind of something I haven't seen on a podcast. And then the lead with Evan Ohara, that kid's got a future in racing.
Yes, he does. I'll tell you, if you watch him flag, the kid's he's a
wheelman too.
He can drive, but he's as far as being a flagger, he's gonna be a headliner one day. He's gonna be a super dirt series, a short track super series. It wouldn't surprise me to see him on the outlaw series. Like he's committed. He's impressive. I'm excited for him.
I will say this. You said he's 15, right?
I think he's 15. Yeah.
So I got my piece of advice that strayed me from my ill-fated racing career. I got it when I was about 13 years old at the infield of Penn Speedway. There was a practice session, not even a practice, it was a rented track, and it was when Reed Miller, God rest his soul, Reed Miller had just took over the Penn Can, and we're sitting down there, and a couple cars were on the track, and I'll never forget being a kid, and just looking at Reed and talking with him for the first time, and he said, "Oh, you want to race?" And I said, "Yeah, that's all I've ever known, yada yada." And he looked up to the tower and he said, "That's where you want to be." And I looked at him and I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Racetrack's where all the glory is." He said, "Nope, there's got to be people that fill that side of the fence too." And when we were talking about Evan and coming up at 15, that was just that popped in my head. We lost Reed passed away this past Monday or last week, and had to give a shout out to Reed Miller on that one. And
Yeah,
he's
for
right.
sure.
He was right. You need people on the other side of that fence just as much as you need them on the racetrack. And it's good to see Evan has a passion for flagging. He's a very, very good wheelman. We've actually raced against him. My son did at Tri-County. And finished second a lot of nights to him.
Yeah, he's I like seeing that. I mean, like in any position, you get guys, these young kids that are getting into, out in Glen Ridge area, that Brady Hauser, like that's his name, right?
Yep.
He's doing some podcasting stuff, and he's some photography, and I mean, I think he's out of high school now, but he's been doing it for a few years, and I know it was probably a year or so ago, he was doing I think he did a podcast or something like that, and he actually got Dave Moody on his show. I'm like, dude, like that kid just became my hero. Like,
oh yeah.
This kid's young. I don't know. He might be 18 or 19 now, but I want to say, he started doing this just 14, 15, and there's kids that want to announce, and they, kids that want to flag, and kids that want to get in the PR side of things, and it's just a lot of kids in their backyard bike leagues want to be a promoter too. That was.
Yeah, never done that.
Oh yeah, me too, man. I organized all the races when I was 12 years old. We had all the bike races. We tore up a lot of lawns a lot of people's back lawns. They got a lot of kids in deep shit with their parents. in downtown Sydney Center, New York.
That's one thing that I always tried to do when I was announcing, and is anybody that wanted to try, whether it was a kid or anybody older, if they could talk on a microphone, if they weren't scared, get them up there, give them that chance, and give them that trial. And I'll tell you, the eye-awakening moment for me was this year. I went down to the go-kart track down in Penn on a Sunday, and I stopped down a few times. Kansas had raced a couple times. And long story short, I go down there and I get a text that hey, your boy's on the microphone. And I said, what? Kansas on a microphone? This kid never said more than 3 words. So I had to drive down and see this. Whatever I was doing, I had to stop. And I got there just in time to see a victory lane interview. And I sat there and I watched from a distance, and I heard a word-for-word Craig Hawley interview. And I went, wow, he's actually paying attention to it. and then I told him, I said, listen, when you get in that side of the business racing, you will walk out of here with a little bit of money in your pocket. When you go in the pits and you go racing, you're not walking out of here with any money in your pocket.
Yeah, you ain't kidding there. Yep.
It's
definitely we have to get the kids involved on every level. And Brandon, you guys are doing a great job with that with the kart racing.
Thank you.
And I feel like we've missed a generation, and it's going to be tough to recover from now.
Yeah, that was one thing. We never had that when I was growing up. I mean, I know when I was there was a track in Davenport that I flagged. I just touched on earlier. That track was open for, 6-7 years, something like that. But I really didn't even know about it. It was only a half hour from my house, 40 minutes from my house or something. But I didn't even know about it until I was actually racing the 4-cylinders. That was my first year racing. Was the last year they were open, and I was flat. I remember it was the year before, but I had already bought by the time I discovered it, I had already bought my first 4-cylinder, so I already had a car. But we went up there and I corner flagged for a season up there. It was like the middle of the season. We went up there to check the place out, and they needed a corner flagger, and the promoter literally came out to the grandstands and was like, hey, we need a corner flagger. Anybody want to do it? And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. So I went down and flagged turn 4 for the last half of the season, and their head flagger after that season was up said he wasn't going to do it anymore, but he's like, I think I'll talk to Brandon. And the promoter was Mike Gray. We actually lost him about 1.5 years ago. He had some health issues and wasn't really that old. Sucked to lose him. But he was the first one to say, "Yep, get up on a flag stand." And I'd flagged some backyard bicycle races, but that was, but I got up there and flagged and flagged for the season. That was the last year they were open. That was when I was 16 years old. And other than that, Dodge City was about an hour from me, but they were Friday nights, and I was at Afton every Friday night when I was growing up, so that really wasn't a fact. I'd never even been to Dodge City until I started racing go-karts in 2020. And we never had, locally, there was no go-karts. We had the Mike Rod track, but by the time we started getting into that, they were starting to get a little more advanced, a little more pricey, and we didn't really, there's, me and my brother, if you're going to get one, you got to get two. And the Mike Rods were...
Speaking from experience, go-karting.
Yeah.
Go-karting.
Oh, yeah, and the go-kart, nothing wrong with the Mike Rods. They're a cool deal, too, but they are a lot more expensive than a go-kart.
They're a lot more expensive, and the biggest downfall with them is when you're done and your child or your driver's going to age out.
Right.
When you're done, you have a car on an island.
Yep.
If the track is doing well, you'll be able to get a return on your. You're never getting a return on your investment, but you're not going to have to give it away. And if they're not having a great run, then you can get those Mike Rods a dime a dozen, and you're never gonna make out okay on that. At least with go-karts, there's a market for them nationwide.
Right. Yep.
But we had a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun at Tri-County, and I'm telling you, it's anything in racing. Going back to Brad, what you said with the HO slot cars. If you're a racer, you can have fun racing anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that was kind of, that was one of the things that was always really cool about like our little group of friends that we had, in Windsor, when we were young teens, we all got together for some sort of racing, and it was usually organized by you, be it some RC car or a bike or the little HO slot cars, and it was a fun way to grow up, man. We definitely did a lot of outdoors and indoors type of racing, things like that. And
one of my greatest memories with you, Brad, involves racing, and I got to see the one and only modified that Brad Hearn raced at East Windsor that he barrel rolled out behind, I believe it was John Salvatore's shop.
Oh yeah, yep. Our trip to New Jersey, we went to.
That we were going to the Motorsports Expo.
Yeah, we went.
Autographs.
Yeah, we went to the Motorsports Expo, and we spent the night at my house, where I grew up in New Jersey, and my buddy John Salvatore, that I went to high school with, his father actually had bought the last East Windsor Brett Hearn car that he pretty well had kicked everybody's butt with that car, and he flipped it and got it repaired or whatever, and then they actually, John's father raced it for a little bit, and that was cool. That was one thing that was always cool about my buddy John, and you got to see kind of firsthand, is, his father didn't sell anything, so he had kind of...
What I would give to, remember where that was, because I just want a piece of that body panel. That was the Auto Bala 72, Brandon. It was amazing.
It was nice. It was, and he had it sitting outside, covered up, and chassis and body all together, along with a couple other chassis and bodies. He had a sprint car there as well. It was like a little museum. It was neat.
And I looked like Backstretch Bob at one point when they told me that Brett Hearn's East Windsor car was out back. I died and went to heaven that night.
Yeah, we'd mentioned it, and Craig, he was like, "Oh, we got to stop what you're doing now. We got to go look at it." Yeah, and it was pretty neat.
It was going to be picked up and moved away if we didn't go right that second.
Yeah.
We almost ate at a White Castle that night too, but that's when Mr. Weaver here informed me that's not really the type of meat you want to eat. So to a diner instead, and it turned out to be pretty good food.
Yeah. It was. I think I took you to Red Tower. We passed the White Castle. I was like, let's go to this other place. It was Red Tower.
And I took a look, and I said, I don't know how they can eat these things, and out the door we went.
All right, well, we're getting to the point where we got to start winding this down, but I do want to touch on I'm going to keep you right on the phone here, Craig, until my phone dies anyway. But I do, just because we value your opinion here. Let's touch on the tire deal. We're 3 World of Outlaws, their Lucas Oil late model teams got popped for doctored tires, and it sounds like they're being suspended from both the Outlaws and Lucas Oil.
4 races.
Is it 4 races?
4 races or 30 days, whatever comes first.
Yeah, so, and I'm seeing a lot on there. A lot of, the Blue Ridge Labs tends to get little shit every time somebody denies they doctor their tires. But I can tell you this much. My way in here is I've spoken with Blue Ridge Labs. We're set up with Blue Ridge to test our tires at our track for our non-prep classes, our ghost classes. And I can tell you right now that if they're failing it, there's something up. Maybe it was deliberate, maybe it wasn't, but their process, when I talked to the woman at Blue Ridge, when they break these tires down, they can tell you exactly what's in them, right down to the element. When she talked about all the different stuff they have found in tires, and she told, for instance, there was one tire that they had gotten was from an asphalt late model team that was running down the Carolinas somewhere, and they had it was 5 or 6 different chemicals. I can't tell you. I don't remember what it was. It might have been WD-40 and brake fluid and transmission fluid. She goes, but then it also popped for vitamin D, and she goes, now we didn't even put it on our report because we're like, that's weird, and she said that the driver got disqualified and put up all these posts. We didn't doctor him. We're going to sue Blue Ridge. We want this. We want our second sample tested. And then, nothing, the DQ held. And then a little while later, she had talked to one of the crew guys. He goes, oh, yeah. He goes, we put this, and vitamin D in it. She's like, vitamin. She goes, I knew there was vitamin D. She goes, it sprung on it. She goes, we went, what the heck would there be vitamin D? But we didn't. She goes, it was a minuscule amount, so we didn't really put it on the report. But she also said that now their process for the tire sampling is basically, I can't remember. I think it's four cuts per tire, 4 slices, and the teams are supposed to cut it themselves with their own grooving iron. So you can't claim cross-contamination from somebody else's doctored tire, because the grooving iron, you go from one cut to the next. If it's on the grooving iron, it's going to be on the tire sample. So they're supposed to do that. Then it goes immediately into a vial. The vial gets capped and sealed and signed, and then that goes into an evidence bag, which gets sealed and signed. So and then it gets sent out. She said, and she was talking about now a couple times they've had tire samples that have come up and they popped them for different chemicals and stuff, and they send the second sample out to a different lab. Different lab finds nothing. Well, I mean, to me that says who's doing the better job testing. They didn't find it doesn't mean it wasn't there. The stuff doesn't come from out of nowhere. If it gets tested, if it pops for it, it's there. Whether it was something deliberate or not, that's something else. But she also told me that Simple Green will not fail if you're just washing with Simple Green. Spray the Simple Green on, give it a scrub, rinse it off. It won't pop. They can tell the difference. They know if it's there. They know if it's in the rubber or on the rubber. She said same thing with running through fuel on the track or oil on the track or something in the pits. It's not going to be, they can tell. They know, where it's located in the rubber. Matt, my screen changed, but sealed vial, bag, and signed. Yeah, see, that's if there's an issue where something that may not have actually been doctored pops, that's going to come. That's not on the lab. You can't blame the lab for that. They're just finding what's there. Now it could be an issue with the driver's grooving. If the driver's doctoring his tires and cutting other doctored tires and use that same grooving iron to cut this one, well, yeah, it's very possible it's going to pop for it.
So if Matt's still in here, then
he is. Yep.
I'm going to give you my opinion on this, pretty cut and dry, and that's from an outsider going right in, because up until a year ago, dirt late model racing to me was just cool, but I didn't follow it.
Yep.
I go online and I go to Google and I type in Bobby Pierce tires. First thing that comes up is what just happened.
Yep.
Then we go back to June 19, 2018. The Eldora Speedway, and I believe it was the Dirt Late Model Dream. Mm-hmm. Bobby Pierce also failed the tire test. And again, and this was in 18, so this is 6 years ago, again was going with the mentality that the lab is out to get him. Yep. So I'm going to sum that up into a layman term for somebody who's been around racing a long time. I don't know Bobby Pierce. I don't know any of these guys. But when you are caught with your hand in the cookie jar when you're 4 years old, and it's in the cookie jar, and you look quick and you take it out,
I didn't do that.
It's still in the cookie jar.
Yep.
Something. If this was the first time that Bobby Pierce had ever had any tire issues whatsoever with the lab, right, with any of that, if it was the first time, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt. But this has been going on for years. Listen, I don't know if we all do, but I will never forget circa early 2000s Joe Blazak. I love Joe Blazak, Canada Joe, dirt modified driver, right? Guy came down, he won races all over the place. He basically got out of racing over the same type of deal back in the early 2000s when his tires were out, where something he was doing with the tires.
Yep.
And it's always been something, everyone looks for that competitive advantage. Just once, and I don't care if this is tires or if this is a motor, and guys, you know this, but not everybody knows, I have been in a tower for 20 years. I have seen people come up who have protested, I've seen people come up who have been disqualified.
Yep.
Just once, I want somebody who's been caught cheating to look you dead in the eyes and say, "Yep, you got me.
Yeah.
I was wrong."
It doesn't.
And move on. Because I don't think any less, and us as racers don't think any less of Bobby Pierce or anybody for pushing the envelope, right?
No, in all honesty, like my thought is at that level, these guys are racing for a living. When your food on your table depends on you winning, it's your job to get there. It's the track. It's the track and the sanctioning bodies to catch what you're doing. That's their job. Obviously I don't like cheating. I don't condone it. But at the same time, that's how you're feeding your family.
It's only cheating if somebody else catches you and they make it that way.
Right.
If it's your guy, if you're a Bobby Pierce fan, he's just bending the envelope. He's just being like Chad Knaus was for all those 7 years, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's your guy, they're pushing the envelope.
Yeah.
If it's not your guy, that's it, he's a cheater. And listen, I've said this as long as I can remember, Brad, you can attest to this. Just because your tires are dope, just because you have an extra 20 horsepower in a sealed engine, you still have to drive that thing for the entire race. You still have to win the race or finish wherever you finish, right? Doesn't necessarily mean just because your tires are doped up that you're going to go to victory lane.
Right. Yeah.
And that's that's kind of why we do, as racers, why we do these things. We push the envelope. I'm not not saying that this is a specific thing that we all do, but that's the idea, is that we all do something somewhere, somehow, some way. We're always looking for that competitive advantage. It's because that's we need that. That's what we need to do, or we feel that we need to do to try to win. It's not necessarily always going to work out.
Yeah.
But if I can find, say, a groove pattern or something that I cut my tires up a certain way, and that just seems to really work, and it, for whatever reason, it gives me the illusion, or in my head, that I'm able to do so good or whatever, win a race or finish top 5 because of that groove pattern, then that's what I'm gonna kind of keep putting my hard work into, or say it might be, man, I got it, like with the crates, they've got the valve springs that are like, those are cheater springs, or they're not like the pack springs. They said that they're illegal, but they passed the pound test or whatever, Well, I felt like I gotta have them pack springs in, or I gotta have them killer crate springs, or I gotta have the Donut springs in, that's what I feel is giving me a competitive advantage to be able to finish however well I finish.
I remember talking to a guy that
we're not going to stop. I think that's what I'm saying, is no matter what, we're not going to stop trying to push that envelope no matter what.
Yeah. I remember talking to a guy, this was a couple years ago now. He's worked down south, worked for some of the sprint car teams, like the World of Outlaws sprint car teams, and the Lucas Oil and World of Outlaws late model teams and stuff. And just touching back on the tires quick, he said that basically they're all doping their tires in one way. Now, you can't quote me on this, I don't care. It's rumored. Rumor has it that they're all doping their tires, but they're trying to find different ways of getting around it. Basically, they'll dope them shortly on race day, shortly before, so that you're getting that, and they're just hoping the tires wear off enough where it burns through the prep part of the tire, but it gives them, the first half of the race, it gives them an advantage. And then sometimes either there's not enough tire wear, or your tire dope goes a little deeper than you had anticipated. Maybe put it on a little heavier, got down into the grooves, and you're hoping to just hit the tread blocks.
You end up getting popped.
So
that's when you end up saying the lab screwed you.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so I these guys getting caught. I'm not even a little surprised, and I'm not buying it when they say, I didn't do it. I'm not gonna say I'm not buying it. It's possible. Like my guess is there either was, and I don't think at that level, I don't think you're seeing a lot of cross contamination unless they're, if these guys are, they got their weekend tires there. We're gonna hit a special race where we know they're not doing any tire testing, so put on the doped up, the real good stuff. The ones with the
The 25 lap prep.
The Go P fucking soaked tire, internally soaked, internally rolled tires, and
Bobby Pierce's dad still works for Dirt Car.
does he?
Isn't he a series official?
Could be.
I'm not
I
sure.
believe he is.
Yeah.
And so he's I don't know that for sure. That Bobby Pierce is the same one that Tyler Erb had to run in with and said he was gonna told him to meet him. Yeah, then his father was a series official for Dirt Car for the World of Outlaw Late Model Tour.
Yeah.
So you're sitting here and saying basically that they're out to get you, right? It just none of it makes any sense when it comes down to that. I didn't mean to cut you off. It just that popped in my head really quick.
No, and it's again another reason why we've been chomping at the bit to have you on the show is because of your insight and your points. So don't worry about cutting us off.
Traction control. I see Mark Terry's comment.
That's a whole other.
We've been on too long. We can't go.
Yeah, we're an hour and a half right now, so which is about a half hour longer than we shoot for, so we're probably gonna wind this one down here. But
Thanks for having us on, Craig, or coming on with us, Craig. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
And here in the next couple weeks, I should be out the road on a Tuesday night. Let's get together in the studio.
Yeah, definitely. Love to have you in studio, and maybe we could do maybe an extended episode or something for that one.
Sounds good. Plus, if we can get something going at the racetracks live feed while you guys are busy. I got nothing but time this summer.
Sounds
Nice. Looking forward to working with you, Craig.
good. Have a good night.
Thanks, man. Well, you heard from Craig Hawley. He's one of my good buddies, known for a long, long time. Somebody I grew up racing with as a young kid. We got to compete together against each other in the modified division a few times at 5 Mile Point Speedway, and just all around good guy. He's done pretty much everything at the racetracks, and love having him on. Love all the insight that he brings to the table, and hopefully we can get Craig in studio here one of these days here pretty quick. So we'll let Brandon wrap it up for us.
All right, so thanks for joining us again. Let me just pull up my sponsor list, because if I try to do this off the top of my head, I will forget something. Obviously, Dust Pods, as always. Champion Cartway, Pitside Kart Supply, Brad Weaver Racing, Heinz Energy, Snake Creek Marine, Liberty Carpet, and as always, powered by AG Video. So we will hopefully see you guys next week. Brandon Clapper and Brad Weaver. We'll see you next time.
Thanks a lot, guys.